Disclaimer, I'm not a philosopher, nor am I a psychologist, counsellor, therapist, or anything else that would fall under the categories of these types of jobs. I'm not suggesting that anything that follows is either right or wrong. They are simply my thoughts and how I've chosen to see them. This is my way of helping me understand both myself and the world around me a little bit more, and hopefully it can help you do the same. Hello and welcome back to Connor's Compendium of the Self. Yes, I know it has been a very long time since I've posted anything really, or made any kind of videos. There's been a lot going on recently, both personally and professionally, that have just required more of my immediate attention. So unfortunately I wasn't able to put as much effort into these as I wanted to, but we are now in a position whereby we are more able to do that now. Things have finally started to settle down. As you can see, we have a brand new setup as well. I've moved house now, so I'm in a different location, and we do also have two new cameras as well. As you can see, we've got this camera over here, which is manned by Lloyd Dean, so thank you very much for helping out, Lloyd. And the main camera here as well was lent to us by Matt Taylor as well, so again, thank you to Matt Taylor for letting us use the camera as well. The purposes of this from now on is we're trying to up the production value of these types of videos, because I do want these to do well, and I'm very lucky to have a very supportive friendship group and family as well, so thank you to everyone for helping out in any way that you have been. So with all that in mind, I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a lovely day, week, weekend, whatever it is you're in at the moment when you're watching this video. I hope you're having a great time so far. I hope you've been looking after yourself. I hope you've been looking after yourself mentally and physically as well. There always seems to be a lot going on in the world at the minute, but I do hope that with all of this tumultuous era that we seem to be finding ourselves in, with so much going on, I hope that you're still taking the time to find a little bit of time for yourself, just to make sure that you're as here and as centered as you can be, because you can't really move forward unless you're present and in the moment. So I don't want to delve too much further into any of that sort of stuff. I do want to just get straight back into the latest extract from the book. This one's from a little bit earlier on. It's actually the second one that I wrote in the book. Enjoy. The asshole paradox is a concept that I came up with around about mid-2019, and it's essentially where one root from our problem tree starts. Say you're having one of these infamous bad days where nothing seems to be going well and the world is against you and you'd rather be anywhere other than here. Or maybe you just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and dropped your yogurt. Either way, you're having a bad day. Then you get to work and one of your colleagues or managers starts having a go at you again for whatever reason. You decide then and there, people are assholes. After you make that decision, suddenly you start to see it everywhere. People start being rude to you, so you start being rude back. Well, if they're going to be horrible to me, then I'm going to be horrible back to them. Well, as tempting as it may be, as unfortunately most people do seem to be assholes, this is where the problem lies. If you're having a bad day for whatever reason, then you meet someone, be it family, friend or stranger, and then they set you off, for lack of a better term, and then you start being an asshole to everyone because someone was an asshole to you, you're doing to other people what that person did to you. So they pass it on to the next person, and the next person, and so on and so forth. The cycle continues. If we want to break free from this bitter nihilistic loop, we have to start actually taking responsibility for our actions. Chances are you've met someone who's been caught in this paradox, like the guy who gets right up your ass in traffic and then honks away at you to move, or the rude cashier who clearly hates their job. Chances are you've fallen victim to it yourself. We're all in this boat together, so we should all understand that it's not you, it's something in their life, their day. Regardless of your position, the cure is clear, albeit difficult. Forgive and forget. There's no point holding on to anger and hate, as it only corrupts you, and in turn, spreads the nihilistic disease. Now, there has actually been quite a few people that I've read that extract to, that they find it difficult to actually accept, even though they know that there is some truth and validity in it, because it is difficult to forgive and forget, don't get me wrong, and I'm not sitting here being some sort of oh, I'm perfect at all of this, I always forgive and forget and I never let anything, there's water off a duck's back. That's not what I'm saying at all. I've fallen foul of this many a time, and it's an easy thing to do, but I think the main thing that you should really take away from something like this is understanding that you can still make the choice there and then to essentially say, this isn't something that I'm going to allow to affect me, because all this is going to do is make me more annoyed. And even if you haven't started your day in a bad way, like I said in the book, even if it is an actually quite a good day, you can still fall foul of this. And then what's happened? If you're allowing someone to completely dictate your emotional state to a point whereby they've not only made you angry, they've now made you angry for the rest of the day, and you've now spread that anger onto someone else that didn't really need it and was in the position that you were in earlier that day when it happened to you. So it does kind of spread like a bit of a wildfire, these sorts of things, because anger and annoyance and hate are such an easy emotion to get caught up in, because they are it's such a strong emotion, and it is a negative emotion. This isn't really a new thing. People remember negative emotions and experiences better than they do positive ones, because your brain and your body are trying to tell you that this was something you need to avoid having happen again. But the problem that comes in with that is you then become this sort of surrogate for negativity, and you then end up passing it on like some carrier of the nihilistic disease, as I said in the book. So how do you move forward with this then? Well, I think the way that you can move forward with this is by accepting responsibility for your own actions, and understanding as well that a lot of the times the reason why people are being like that is because of something that has happened in their day to them that is so specific to them. It comes across as a general thing, but it really isn't. And all they need to do is address that situation. So essentially, if you're getting to a point whereby you're allowing someone else to dictate your emotional state, you are in essence giving them control over your being. And I know this is quite a prevalent part of Stoic philosophy, is this idea of trying to not allow people to dictate your emotional states and how you choose to see things, because it is more of a choice for you. And I think even if you're in a position whereby it doesn't feel like you have much of a choice, because let's take anger for an example. Anger is a very, like I said before, it's a very prevalent emotion. You can definitely feel it when it's there, even if you don't show it outwardly like some people do. You still feel it, and it's that hot burning sensation. So it's difficult to ignore. My point is, you don't necessarily need to ignore it, you need to acknowledge it. I think by acknowledging it, you completely you diminish its power over you if you acknowledge it. And if you actually take a minute, because it is possible to do, as hard as it can be, it is possible to do where you can sit there, take a minute and understand that yes, it was annoying. Yes, you have every right to be angry at the fact that someone has just either snapped at you or said something inappropriate or has any kind of thing that they've done to upset you. It's fine. You're perfectly valid in feeling the way that you're feeling, because it is annoying what it is that they've done. But do you want to allow that and this event to completely dictate your day? Do you want this event to completely overtake and overshadow everything else that you've been doing for the whole day? My guess is probably not. And the only way then that you can combat that is by just taking a moment and looking at it from your point of view as well. When you've been in a situation whereby you've been having a bad day and you've snapped at someone, why were you snapping at them? Because if you trace it back, I imagine again, people don't just wake up angry. They don't just wake up annoyed. There will be something either the night before, which yes, I guess would mean that you wake up angry. But you see my point. You don't just wake up and then you're just angry for no reason. There's always a reason for it. Anger requires a justification. And that justification then becomes this nihilistic monster that just infests you and can completely take over every element of your day and how you choose to view it. I think we as a society get so fixated on this idea of it is about me, and it is about how I'm feeling. And I'm not trying to discourage that. I'm not trying to say that what you're feeling isn't valid, and it is important to focus on yourself, but you have to be able to focus on yourself and also spread your awareness to other people as well, because we all have to live here. The world's a bad enough place as it is at the minute anyway. There needs to be some sort of counterbalance from having the focus on yourself and knowing when and how and where you can focus on yourself, to then also being able to spread that to other people as well, so you don't just become this closed door that nothing can get through, and that's just it. No one else is allowed in, no one else's opinions matter, blah blah blah. But then again, even if you are thinking like that, what's the only thing that then comes through is anger. When people think like that, the only emotion that they allow other people to directly affect them with is anger or aggression or being patronizing or any kind of negative emotion that can attach to this point. That's all you end up letting through. So if that's all you end up letting through, all you're going to think is that every interaction that you have with somebody could potentially be negative rather than positive. So with all of that in mind, I implore you to think about this a little bit deeper, about potentially if this has happened to you yourself, maybe even today or last week, last month, whatever it may have been. Think about a time where you feel as though you have, and this isn't to like point the finger and to say that you've done it wrong, and it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing this, that you've done it wrong, you know, look at what you've done. It's not that. Just allow yourself to think about a time when you have allowed your anger to get the better of you, and you know that you shouldn't have done it. What comes after that, especially if it's to a friend or a family member, there's always that inevitable guilt that kind of comes with it. There's a guilt that comes with those outbursts, even to strangers sometimes. And I'm not sitting here saying that I've never done this before, because I've fallen foul of this many a times. So I'm not saying that this isn't me trying to be, I'm better than anyone else, so follow my lead. Because I've had this as well. We all fall foul of it, everyone does. But I think if we as a collective want to start being able to understand that people can be good and people can be better, shall we say, I think we all as a species need to start taking a bit more responsibility for what it is that we do and how we treat ourselves and other people. And a lot of people badger on about that sort of stuff, about like, you know, treating others how you want to be treated. There's that whole kind of thing in the Bible, and loads of people talk about it a lot. It's not a new thing. I'm not trying to blow your mind with a new concept or anything, but it is just that idea of stopping and thinking. If you're having a bad day, just giving yourself just a minute, just a minute is all you need to just stop, take a breath, and think about what it is that you're about to say before you actually say it. Because I do really genuinely believe that if people did that, people wouldn't think that people were so horrible all the time. Because I know a lot of people who are going to disagree with me on this, but I really do believe that at our core, I don't think people are intrinsically bad. I think people, not necessarily saying people are intrinsically good either, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that are horrible, and you do have to be careful of those types of people. But again, it all stems from somewhere. Nobody's just brought into this world and is immediately a bad person, because it doesn't work that way. There's nature and nurture that intertwine to make who you are. And then if you add on top of that all of the myriad of like crap that you can get bogged down with on day-to-day life, it's easier to start understanding why people might feel this way inclined and might be a bit more on the negative side of the thought process, should we say. So to summarize this rather long-winded and convoluted rant, what I'm trying to say is be a bit kinder to yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to calm down before you say something that you might regret. Just give yourself a minute. Allow yourself to understand that you are valid in being annoyed at whatever it is most of the time. There are some times where it's questionable, and again, we've all been there. But give yourself the opportunity to take a minute and just breathe. That's all it is. Just breathe. Think about what it is that you're saying, and then I think if we all started to do that a little bit more, we'd all start to realise that people aren't actually assholes. They're just having a bad day, or they're just having a bad week, or a bad month, or a bad year. You've no idea how long this person has been going through what they're going through. And so to be able to snap at someone in a way that makes you angry as well, just think for a second. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe there are outside influences that I have absolutely no idea about, because this is a whole other person with a whole other life and is equally as complex and strange and just bizarre as I am. Maybe I shouldn't be giving them such a hard time, because maybe, quite likely, the problem hasn't actually got anything to do with you. It's actually got something to do with what they're trying to deal with in their life. And I think that if you start thinking about it from that perspective, maybe we might start treating each other the way we feel like we should treat each other, which is with respect and actually a little bit of care. So thank you very much for watching this video. I do really appreciate it. Obviously now with things like this, we do have to plug as well. So if you did like the video, please remember to drop a like and maybe comment as well. Do you agree with what I said? Do you not agree with what I said? Do you have any elaborations on what I said? If you do, let me know down in the comments below. It does really help the algorithm, so do remember to drop a like, drop a comment. And if you're enjoying it as well, if you're enjoying this journey that we're on, maybe consider subscribing as well and join us on the journey. But thank you very much for joining. I will put all of the socials as well down on the bottom of the screen. We're also on Instagram and on TikTok as well. We'll be posting more on there more regularly. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Lloyd. Thank you to Matt, and thank you for coming on this journey with me. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whatever it is that you can be doing. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.